A decisive blow could be laid in the fight for the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference tonight. Can Memphis do it on a rainy evening in Louisville? Sean Tosh has something to say about that. 9 goals this season. No defender has ever scored more. No defender ever more lethal from the penalty spot. Today, Memphis, the ultimate road warriors, pay a visit. And Laurent Koscielny ready to try and provide Memphis the rocket fuel they need to move within 2 points of the top of the East. Memphis, Louisville, right now. We welcome you to the USL Championship on a magnificent Friday evening. It is raining tonight in Louisville, but get ready to strike up the band. Tonight's matchup is presented by Baptist Health. It is #1 Louisville City and #2 Memphis 901 FC meeting for the second time this year. Mike Watson, Gary Bailey, and we have reached that point in the season, Gary, where if Louisville wins this, the #1 seed almost feels wrapped up with 3 games to go. If Memphis wins this, they have the game in hand and the highest remaining max points available.
So basically everything to play for, because you're right, if Lou City win this, they're not going to be caught, you wouldn't think. But a win for Memphis, 2 points behind, game in hand, couple of games left in the season. What an end that would be, and what a great season it would be for Memphis.
Let's talk about the last time these teams met, because it was a little bit wild. It was back July 16th. Brian Ownby not available for this game, scored 2 goals in that one, and it only finished with 19 on the field.
Yeah, Philip Goodrum got a very good first goal, and then Ownby with that one, and then the equalizer, the header from Ownby. 3 players sent off. It was wild in every sense of the word. 8 yellow cards. Will it be the same tonight?
Take a look at this 3-headed monster for Louisville City. No Cameron Lancaster, no Ray Serrano. Brian Ownby unavailable tonight, but it's been magnificent all year long. It's been a real beast.
It has 31 goals combined, 10 assists combined. Absolutely stunning, and they have been all season. The big question is, can they take it right through into the playoffs? Because if they can, they're going to be a very difficult team to beat.
Looking for that next star. Meanwhile, a couple of stars for Memphis to keep an eye on. Phil Goodrum has rocketed up the Golden Boot post. He's got 5 in the last 2 games.
Absolutely brilliant. 19 goals for the entire season. Aaron Malloy, 10 assists, tops the USL. 2 players in unbelievable form. Didn't see it coming, especially with Philip Goodrum. What a good find he has been. Look forward to seeing them in action today. And of course, 2 players that Lou City will have to keep a close eye on.
All right, don't move a muscle. This is the kind of matchup you spend all year waiting for. It's been circled, and it's finally arrived. Top of the table, Louisville, Memphis, hot in pursuit. Lineups kick off when we return to Kentucky.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the unmatched orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With a best-in-class team, along with services and procedures you won't find anywhere else in the region, it's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
Watching it in the morning did force me to slow down and made me aware of things going on in the city that I wasn't aware of.
First-time viewers watch WDRB in the morning.
The weather was very impactful because we were doing things every day, whether we were going to go to the pool or go to the park. The weather was definitely helpful.
When the Thompsons first bought their house, all they saw was their dream home. They didn't yet know that with a home equity line of credit from Commonwealth Credit Union, it would be their keys to epic cannonballs and the chance to see the world. As years went by, it allowed them to empower the next generation and make happily ever after come true. Which begs the question, what could your home be doing for you? Let's find out together. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines unleash their unstoppable offensive attack against Maryland. All part of Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
Louisville is home. When I hear Louisville, I think warm, loving, friendly people, but very practical, hardworking people at the same time. People here are family, and you don't even have to be from here to find a connection with someone. Pride of Louisville never leaves you, even if you leave here. I feel like my children are well-rounded people because they've met a diverse group of people. Just in living and experiencing the city is tremendous.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle.
And we're back on the road again in the adventurous new Toyota RAV4. Now, we can tell you why RAV4 is the best-selling SUV.
But we'd rather show you.
Let's go.
First off, RAV4 is one of 14 different Toyotas available as an electrified vehicle.
At 40 mpg, it's got a driving range of 580 miles.
Saving you thousands in fuel costs over the next 5 years.
And every new RAV4 comes with 2-year no-cost maintenance included.
Toyota. Let's go places.
We will do everything on the field to make sure we win.
Anything less is a disappointment.
3 years since we last lifted a trophy, and that's far too many.
We're working every single day to bring home a championship.
We started off on the right foot, and now we just got to keep going.
Louisville City FC takes on Rio Grande Valley October 1st at 8:30 on My 58. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently.
Here we go in Louisville, and the Coopers are ready. They always are. A very happy 9th birthday to the OG supporters group for the club. It's great news, Gary.
It is brilliant supporters, brilliant fans, great vibe at Lynn Family Stadium. And I've got a funny feeling that tonight of all nights, it's going to be really pumped up for the visit of Memphis 901.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for Louisville City. It is presented by Craft House Pizza. No Brian Ownby.
That's a big loss, and Paulo Del Piccolo will come into that midfield, and maybe they'll push the likes of Jorge Gonzalez up, or perhaps not. They might play a 4-4-2. Also missing Josh Winder on international duty with the USA U19s. Where's Sharpie comes in?
So just the 2 changes for Louisville City, but they've got their goalkeeper who's trying to pick up a 13th clean sheet of the year tonight. He's our Commonwealth Credit Union player profile worthy player.
Yeah, best defense in the East. I mean, 12 clean sheets out of 25 appearances. That's phenomenal record. Of course, he's got a good defense in front of him, a good team, but he himself is a top class keeper.
All right, here's a look at the lineup for Ben Pierman's Memphis 901 FC. Turchi comes into the back line. Leston Paul unavailable for the group.
Yeah, he's on international duty with Trinidad and Tobago, so they play what looks like a 4-4-2. We assume Dodson will be up. He might play in midfield. They might play a 4-5-1. We will figure it all out once we get to kickoff.
The lights are flickering. Trey Muse, 8 clean sheets on the season for the Louisville, Kentucky native who went on to Indiana, then Tacoma, and time in the U.S. Youth National Team. This game is airing locally in Memphis and Louisville on ESPN Deportes nationally, Sirius XM FC on the radio. It's local on radio on Louisville, and it's also live on ESPN+. Here we go. Number 1, number 2 in the East from Lynn Family Stadium, Louisville City and Memphis 901 FC.
Yeah, so much to play for. As we said in the beginning, should Memphis win this, they will be 2 points behind Lou City with a game in hand, a chance to go above them. It's all in their own hands. And in fact, that's what Philip Goodrum said about this match. He said, it's up to us. It's in our control. We can finish top, and we're going to go out there and give it our best.
Aaron Malloy to take a set piece. 10 assists on the year. 7 have come on set pieces. That's a dangerous ball. Gonzalez got it away. Quaffed inside by Kelly. And it'll bound out toward Ben Pierman. Sweatshirted Ben Pierman tonight on a drizzly evening in Louisville.
Perfect for soccer, isn't it? That little wet sort of grass where the ball skips across. And in fact, the players saying, in fact, Tyler Gibson's quote is, the cooler weather's a big thing. It's usually a symbol of playoff soccer.
If you get any further north, usually it's a little dusting of snow. It's going to come all the way back to Morton. Let's take a look at tonight's weather report. It's presented by Advanced ENT and Allergy. 90% chance of rain. It's already tapered in and out a bit. Temps in the mid-60s and a marginal wind. Shouldn't play much of a factor tonight.
Yep, these are two good teams, two hard teams to break down. Oh, risky ball through the middle. It comes off there from Kyle Morton. If you look at Memphis on the road, only 9 goals conceded on the road this season, the entire season. That's the best in the USL. If you look at Louisville City, only lost once at home. That was against Monterey Bay back in May. So two teams that don't give much away.
And Monterey Bay came in the midst of their Open Cup crush of games. Tosh, see the Louisville numbers this year, to your point. 33 goals scored, 9 conceded. Mushagalusa, away by Graham Smith.
I mean, you can just keep throwing stats around with these two teams. Lou City highest scorers 59, Memphis 58. Lou City best defense in the East with just 24 conceded. Only San Antonio with 23 beats them in the entire USL, and that's why you sit up front. Two great sides, fantastic match. Oh, as you said, strap yourself in. This is going to be a cracking match, and it could be a bit testy as it was the first time around. We had 3 red cards in that match.
Although certainly Trey Muse felt like he was wronged in that for the red card for a supposed handball. Ball rolled through dangerously and trying to nutmeg the goalkeeper. It's going to come off of Morton and scooped up by Tosh, and it's Goodrum, who scored 5 in the last 2 games, breaking through in a way that frankly was precisely what Danny Cruz was worried about. Louisville the other way. Harris stridently taken off the ball. They were worried about that service into wide areas, which would allow the center backs to peel out and Goodrum to slice through. That's precisely how Memphis got at Louisville within 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's also how Loudon got at Louisville in the last match. Balls played alongside the 2 centre-backs. I thought for a moment it was offside. I was waiting for the flag to go up, but it didn't seem to be the case. Now the flag does go up. But you're right, Philip Goodrum. It's going to be a constant threat for the Lou City defense.
Tonight's keys to the game are brought to you by the Bobby Pinkston team at RE/MAX Premier Properties. Score the home of your dreams with the Pinkston team. Move Memphis around on this big field.
That's what Danny Cruz says. We're going to work them. They're not used to the big field. And of course, if you're a Memphis 901 fan, you're saying get the ball to our 2-star players. Philip Goodrum, 2nd in the USL for scoring, and Aaron Malloy top in terms of assists. So why wouldn't you want to give those two the ball?
You know, with Goodrum, it's kind of funny. It looked like Milan Olowski was far and away going to win the Golden Boot. He hasn't gotten one off a set piece this year, but Goodrum has flown into the conversation. Mushagalusa denied. Good save, Muse. He pumped it right back toward Gonzalez and cleared over the line. And there's the first genuine punch of the game thrown, and it comes from Mushagalusa.
Good save from Trey Muse, pushes it away from danger to some extent. You can see bursting through the middle. Corbin Bone gets it wide to Mushagalusa. He comes inside on his right foot, lets rip. Goalkeeper knocks it down with pace. Doesn't just drop it softly, make sure it pushes with pace. So it's very difficult for anyone following up, including Wilson Harris, to finish that off.
5-5 corner. Jorge Gonzalez rolls this along. Perez. Well, he put that right in line with Mushagalusa, and if he flicks that toward goal, it's nearly unstoppable.
Yeah, Memphis caught a little bit. That's a rehearsed set piece, and it was just all too easy there to get a shot on target. Look at that, rolled through. A little bit of switching off at the near post, and Manny Perez not far away from Mushagalusa, who would have been not far away. In fact, that should even be a corner. There's a little touch of a Memphis toe on that, and I think that's what Mushagalusa is saying.
Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives of the communities they serve since 1951. You can learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Maybe you've noticed Hisense on your screen a lot more. They are the new presenting sponsor of the championship playoffs. A win here for Louisville, and they guarantee at least a home game in their first match of the postseason. Likely if they win as the #1 seed, but if they fail to win tonight, 3 points or the loss of points by teams 5th or below, at least guarantee them a home game in the quarterfinal round. With 3 weeks to go in the regular season. Banging through Turchi, and Morton will dive on that grenade.
That's a good cross from Turchi, puts it into a dangerous area, and Carl Morton scoops it up and holds onto it, which is never easy to do. But looking at Turchi playing on that left-hand side, we weren't quite sure how he would line up, where Patrick Segrist would play, and it's all slowly beginning to take shape. Ben Pearman's side, so many options, as Lou City have as well for Danny Cruz.
Speared away by Buckmaster. Carried by Malloy. Well, you'd have to say Ben Pearman has bordered on a miracle worker for what he's accomplished this year. They dealt with some injuries early in the year. They're starting to get closer to full health and closer to full strength, but they're not quite there. A little spin by Gibson, widely considered one of the smaller budgets in the league. And there's been conversation about their manager, Ben Pearman, and his future. The Bluff City Mafia has made clear that they'd like to see him signed to an extension. The ownership, via social media, said that they had in fact offered him a contract worthy of performance. Although the fact that one hasn't been signed yet might indicate that there's a difference of opinion. There's a difference of opinion here as well. Goodrum is down.
Have a just look and see if there's an elbow in the face or a punch in the face here, because the way Philip Goodrum went down, and as we said, there's been history between these two teams. Is it Corbin Bone? Have a look, looks over his shoulder, Corbin Bone. Oh, he gets him a little slap in the face, and that's a red card offense. You can't touch anyone's face like that, and we're very lucky that nobody saw that. Ben Pearman thinks he saw it, and he's having his say.
That's why we don't have closed captioning for lip readers.
Interesting thing in the last match from Memphis against Charleston Battery was Dizzy Harmon, who did the same to Kissiadu, smacked him in the face and got a red card. Of course, the referee or the officials have to see it. There's no VAR to help them out. We didn't see it, so I don't blame the referees for not seeing it, but Corbin Bone, lucky man. I've got a funny feeling he's lit the fuse on this match, because there's going to be some getting even going on from Memphis, and a few words, no doubt, between coaching staff. And yeah, I think we're all set up for a real testy match here tonight.
Gabrielle Giusti is our official this evening. And look, if VAR is ever implemented, that's probably pretty cut and dry. But in the absence of that, it's a little more complex. Memphis will feel hard done. But perhaps, to your point, it's not only lit a fuse on the match, but on their performance. Segrist charging, has Kelly. Malloy. 6 goals for number 6 to go with the 10 assists. Breakout campaign for a player who last year was at forward Madison. He's tied the club record already. He leads the league. Slide in by Goodrum.
You can see there's lots of chirping going on here. I think Philip Goodrum's saying it's okay for me to get hit, but when I do something wrong, you pick on me. So, yeah, I think lots more to be said. Gabrielle Giusti's going to have a tough job there in the middle of the pitch refereeing this match.
Oh, thrust away. Picked up by Malloy. Bone is swarming. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Kept on the line by Musha Galusa. You know, the history has been fairly lopsided, especially here in Louisville. Louisville's won all 4 meetings, and they've done so by pretty gaudy score lines. So calling it a rivalry might feel a tad premature. and yet it's the game in July that makes you think something was going to bubble here. And who knows, if they see each other in the playoffs, you may call this a genuine rivalry.
Well, certainly this season, I think it is.
Has
given
to be.
how well Memphis have played. Maybe in previous seasons they weren't as nearly as good as Lou City, but this year, it's as we said, if they win this in their game in hand, they're above Lou City. That's how good Memphis have been.
They've already set their points record for a year. Perez, Louisville can actually match theirs tonight. They get to 66. And their 20th win would also tie a club record. Bone toward Harris. Banged off a Bone, recovered. Kisiedu. The epitome of the Memphis style, according to Ben Pierman. 23-year-old Ivorian midfielder that they pulled in out of Atlanta.
And he contributes goals, and so do they all when you look at it. Jeremy Kelly, Kisiedu 6, Kelly 7, Aaron Malloy 6, Fernando 4. As we see the tail of the tape. Look at that, 59 goals for Lou City, 58 for Memphis, who played a game less, by the way. So if you're looking at goals per game, they might even be ahead of Lou City. I haven't got my calculator with me, but
they would be, yes. Louisville would need to be 2 up in that category. You know, that American citizenship is really sticking for you because you've dived right into the statistics pool with the rest of us.
I'm learning. I'm learning to write wins, losses, draws, and not the English way of wins, draws, losses.
We're going to pull Gary in, folks. Kisiedu commits the foul. '15th minute. Del Piccolo. Buckmaster fighting. He lost it. And now a foul. No, offside. He came from an offside position. Well, there were some arms flailing that made you think maybe this was going to be decided a different way. The Louisville players are saying, how's that possible?
I think the assistant ref was trying to explain it. The fans were booing as he was trying to, and in the end the game moves on. But I think the fans are going to make some noise here tonight as well.
Gary, is this the kind of game where you feel a little bit of contact on your backside and you go straight to ground, or is this the kind of game where you feel that contact and you throw an elbow and say, how much can you give and how much can you take?
I think these days, more and more, you would go to ground. Back in the day, you would throw the elbow, but you can't do that. So, and I think what you're trying to do these days is you're trying to get someone to throw the elbow and get sent off. So you do niggle a little bit, and it's difficult for folk who don't play the game, but when someone kicks you in the back of the heels the whole time and nudges you in the ribs, your instinct is to lash out. You've got to just breathe deeply, let them get themselves into trouble and give away yellow cards. And then when the passions run high, your ability to keep calm and control the situation is so important. And we saw Ray Serrano last match for Lou City lose it in the last few minutes.
Gonzalez and line and chip back. Well, and Danny Cruz said, I wasn't angry in the locker room. I was disappointed. So that's not how Ray Serrano typically acts.
Yep, and he's disappointed by the fact that he didn't control his emotions. So now he hasn't got Ray Serrano for this match. What if he needs him? It impacts the team. It impacts your teammates. So, you know, controlling your emotions in these very highly charged situations is difficult, but it's also very important.
Without Ombi, you would argue he was a guaranteed starter in this game.
Exactly.
He said moments like that could decipher in a do-or-die game postseason where you stand on the depth chart if someone comes in and performs at your spot better than you did. This is the measuring stick for both teams right now. Although Tampa Bay is playing tonight against Birmingham, they would say, what about us? That's a tough challenge by Mushagalusa.
He's saying there to Fernando, get up. It wasn't much of a challenge. Yeah, and again, he's not wanting to get into trouble with the referee. Is Mushagalusa, so he's trying to make out that Fernando is selling this. He wins the ball and wins it well, Mushagalusa, but there certainly is contact afterwards.
Segrist, Gonzalez.
And there's something else that Lou City are playing for, not just to finish top in the East, but to finish top overall. Should they get to the final, they want to be at home. And yes, they are 4 points behind San Antonio, Mike, but if you've seen San Antonio's remaining games, they're against Sacramento Republic, the Open Cup finalists, Pittsburgh away, Birmingham away, and Orange County to end off with, the reigning champions, even though they're struggling. But there's not to say that San Antonio are going to get a whole ton of points out of those games. So for Lou City, if they can just keep winning, they've got, I think, 2 of the last 3 at home. And, you know, there's every reason they can finish top of the USL, which they haven't done before, have they?
Wild, isn't it?
Yeah, in their 7-year history, they haven't finished top. Amazing. Club as good as Lou City.
They won the East in the regular season in 2018, which meant they hosted the Rowdies, which was critical at the time. Conference final, if memory serves. And then they actually were the top team in 2020, although it was that unbalanced group-laden schedule that was just a little awkward. The team that actually tied them for most points was Hartford, who played in the group with Red Bulls 2 and Loudoun, which was a different kettle of fish altogether. Gonzalez. Louisville finishes at RGV next weekend, and a game against Detroit on October the 5th at home, and then Hartford at home under their new coach Tab Ramos. Of course, the tremendous irony of potentially winning a first-round bye, along with the mini bye leading up to the last game. Touch on that in a moment. Gonzalez, Mushagalusa. Mushagalusa pumps that in toward the goalkeeper, Muse. Pushed it away. Del Piccolo. Perfect tackle. Still alive after Malloy stepped in. Out to Dia. Bone. Gonzalez. Spins this across. Perez. Tosh. Gibson. Seeking the width provided by Dia. Trying to get by Fernandez. Well, Luis Fernando did enough there. Beg your pardon.
Yeah, referee not buying that. He tells Dia to get up. There was a little bit of contact. This was a Mushagalusa effort, left foot. And Trey Muse just bringing his right knee across to close that gap. Well, I don't know. I think that's a foul. The ball's been played, and it's absolutely wiped out there, Del Piccolo.
That was Turchi, and then Malloy was right behind him.
And that's not the first time Turchi's been late in the tackle either. He's already got a warning in this game.
The appeal for a handball off the deflection, no go. Back to Gibson. If Louisville gets a first-round bye, they'll play that Hartford game on the 15th. That'll be their only game in a 23-day span leading up to that potential first playoff game.
Yeah, it's not always to your advantage to have that being a spell without playing. But at the same time, you're not picking up injuries where some of the other playoff teams are. So it's, I think, you know, as a coach, you just say, hey, it is what it is. Don't try and analyze it. Just get out there and play your game.
Dia. Dodson handled that well, but the clearance maintained by Louisville. Lost by Gonzalez. Slide in by Bone, misguided, picked off by Perez. Del Piccolo, Gibson. That's well tucked in from Dia. Mushagalusa did not keep it in. Trivia is brought to you by Tony's Break and Alignment. Birthday boy brace against Memphis earlier this year. Who was it? He has a beard, I'll tell you that.
It's not the most difficult. We mentioned him at the start of the game.
I'm trying to find out how many people are watching the pregame show.
All right.
Well, we'll touch on the answer in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes we pick these really inane trivia questions. Everyone's like, I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, good point. Good point. Feel like you're back at school. Who was listening early on at the start of the lecture?
That's it. Goodrum was offside.
So far, quarter of the way into the game, and you get the sense that Lou City have had the better of it. They've had chances in and around the box. Mushagalusa with a few shots. But, they've seemed to have weathered the storm. Memphis, can they now bounce back?
Laurent Kisiedu pulled in Goodrum. Overlap Fernando. Goodrum spins. Lays that back toward Malloy. Siphoned off by Mushagalusa. And as far as Siegrist. You know what a fascinating game this is. The broadcast schedule is often decided well in advance. ESPN Deportes airing this game in Spanish tonight nationally. Oscar Jimenez had spoken in the past about how important that was for his family, that his extended family was able to watch in Spanish on Deportes. Gary and I have the call on ESPN Plus. This is airing live in Louisville. In Memphis, Pete Pranica, Tennessee Sportscaster of the Year, has the call, the voice of the Memphis Grizzlies, as well as 901 FC. Fernando. Dia got there. Also airing on local radio in Louisville and national radio through Sirius XM FC. So this may be the most robust coverage of a championship game all season, believe it or not, and they chose the right game to do it.
Well, we hope they did. I hope there's going to be a ton of goals and lots of excitement. It certainly promises to be.
Can they switch the point? They did. Siegrist. Siegrist! Dipping over the bar. If he scores that level of difficulty, 11 out of 10.
Yeah, I've seen him hit 1 or 2 from distance and fly in the top corner, but that one wasn't sitting down easily for him. It was a little bit of a rushed shot, but he has a fantastic left foot, Patrick Siegrist. 1 goal already this season. So no reason why I shouldn't try and add a second, but if you're going to beat a goalkeeper of Kyle Morton's ability, it's going to have to be 1 cracking shot.
Now let's talk about Morton for a moment. You mentioned in pregame, but you know, Louisville hadn't really gone outside their borders for a goalkeeper all that often in their history. And yet they bring in Kyle Morton to be the guy, and he's filled those shoes and those gloves as admirably as any goalkeeper in the league. This reaching the corner flag, and the back heel across. Siegrist won't get there as Goodrum, who pirouettes in midair, touches that further. Danger.
Always danger when Goodrum's around. Such a threat, such a good player, and such an incredible impact he's had this season from almost nowhere. Fernando just setting it up for the cross and the little back heel flick there, trying to find someone at the back post. He knew that Patrick Siegrist was around. It's that awareness around the edge of the box that Goodrum is so good at. But although you're talking about Kyle Morton, he is tied currently for the record, the Lou City record for clean sheets with 12. Matching somebody you would have commentated on back in the day, Greg Ranjitsingh from 2018.
Sure.
Yeah. And now he's aiming for the USL record, that's 15. So if he can get 3 clean sheets from the next 4, Kyle Morton, he will equal the USL record. Not bad.
Not at all. And doable. Difficult, but doable. Mushagalusa. That's hard-fought stuff. Oh, it's boiled over. Fernando having words first with Mushagalusa, then with Dia. The referee pulling him apart. Perez has come in. Fernandez saying likely words that we can't follow up on. Turchi's pulled him away.
His eyes there for a moment. It was a scary sight just to look at Fernando's eyes. He had lost it. He was ready for battle. He was ready for war. What did we speak about 10 minutes ago about controlling your emotions? Easier said than done, but there was a bit of a... He was kicking at the back of Mushagalusa. He has a bite there. He has a push and a shove. He has another bite there. And he has a bite now there. That's naughty. That is naughty. That's a kick out. And Mushagalusa gets angry. And every right to be. Have a look coming up now. That's a kick out. That's a yellow card. And he deserves the response. And then look at the eyes in the face. It's a real stare-down contest. And again, if there was VAR, Fernando would be in trouble.
You know, I'll say there's a lot of players that come face-to-face. And you think, well, if no one was around, they'd probably end up making peace at some point. I don't know that they would have.
There you go, yellow card. Quite rightly so, I think.
Conversation here between the AR and the referee. Mushagalusa shown a yellow. Fernando shown a yellow. Del Piccolo is saying, well, what did Mushagalusa do?
Oh, he turned and ran at him.
He did.
You were asking the question a bit earlier, what should you do? Should you throw an elbow or go down? In that situation, if you're Mushagalusa, you go down. You've been kicked. Go down, roll over, do what you have to do. Because what it does is stops you from getting a yellow card. Now, even though he was kicked, you know, he's now on a yellow card, and Ben Pearman's thinking, okay, we came out of that both with a yellow when my player was the one that infringed. He's having a laugh about it anyway.
Well, unless we forget, there was it Corbin Bone in the first 10 minutes throwing a hand back?
That's a red card for me.
There's certainly been a back and forth here. Cards are presented by World of Beer, which for the players involved, I would suggest they stay away from that the remainder of the night for everybody's benefit.
I think we could hear the World of Beer a few times in this match. But there was 3 red cards in the last match, and I don't want to see red, but I certainly think there's a lot of leftover from that match.
Bone away from Mushagalusa. Tosh stepped up off the back line. Mushagalusa tags over. Fernando. Del Piccolo. Gonzalez. They've broken through that line. Gonzalez angling back and forth. There's Malloy. And he's fouled. Well, we've got a lot of action right now, and you don't want to miss your opportunity to cheer on the boys in purple at Lynn Family Stadium next season. Louisville City FC season tickets for 2023 on sale now. LouCity.com/tickets. I need to ask either Danny or Haley Simpson, the PR person for Louisville City, if players are on the graphic, does that mean they're under contract for next year, or is that just a
inside information?
I honestly don't know the answer to that. We're sort of getting to that point where we're sort of asking coaches, hey, you know, do you have Milan Olaski? We asked the head coach out in Orange County, Richard Chaplow, the current Golden Boot leader, is he under contract next year? Yeah, we have an option on him. Okay, I bet they'll trigger that option.
You best exercise it, absolutely. I think the one amazing thing about Lou City over the years is they have kept the bulk of their squad.
15, 16 a year on average.
Exactly. You know, they put down some decent money. They've made sure their top players stay, and that's where their success has been built. My question for Memphis is, can they do the same? Because they have a wonderful squad here. They wouldn't want to lose the likes of a Philip Goodrum or Aaron Malloy, any of these players who've been superstars this season. But they're going to have to match, I assume, they're going to have to match money that other clubs can offer.
Indeed. Think about Colorado Springs. It wasn't that robust a budget when the group was assembled by Brendan Burke. But once you had a really good year from Haji Berry and Michi Galino, you had to start laying out some real money.
You don't want to lose those two. Those two wonderful players.
So largely same team with a substantially higher payroll. Fifth, third free kick to come here. It's Del Piccolo, but likely Gonzalez to put this in play. All right, now Gonzalez is ready. Gonzalez swings. It's a decent enough ball out to Bone. And whistles that in at Muse. Let's give you the answer on our trivia question, brought to you by Tony's Break and Alignment. Birthday boy with a birthday brace. Back in July, of course, Brian Ownby. 2 goals in the Lou City win at AutoZone Park in Memphis.
Right foot and then a header. As we showed early on, if folk had been watching, they would have known the answer to that quiz question. What are you, the schoolmaster here?
I would think the Memphis fans are also well aware.
Yes, yeah. Having gone 1-0 up as well at home, that would have hurt Memphis fans to lose 2-1. But sometimes those losses against a team like Lou City, who you know are perennial achievers, it makes you realize how high you have to punch if you're going to be part of the conversation for winning the East. And they've responded, and here they are. And they are a real part of the conversation, Memphis 901.
Quite. If they win tonight, game in hand, 2 points back. It's all in their hands. Rolled through Harris. He's going to track that down. He cut it back behind Mushagalusa. Turchi recovers. And Fernando grabs it under pressure from Dia. Tosh.
Well, it's a bad ball from Tosh, but what we can mention is the 9 goals he's put away this season for a defender. I believe that's some sort of record.
Most for a defender in league history.
Fantastic. Look, a lot of them have been penalties, but I tell you what, it still takes a lot to walk up and slot a penalty. But Sean Tosh on 9 goals. Most of the forwards in the USL haven't got 9 goals.
I believe the second leading scorer among defenders is Mitchell Tainer, and he's an MVP candidate for San Antonio. Harris, the offside flag was up the entire way. Harris doing a little bit of running, quite literally for fun.
Yeah. Trey Muse, the goalkeeper, didn't even bother to make contact there, because the problem for a keeper is if you come and try and grab it and you get yourself kicked in the head, especially when the flag's gone up, it's not worth your trouble. So he just kept out the way and let Wilson Harris have a bit of fun.
There was a Scott Sterling incident in the league earlier tonight. A goalkeeper taking a shot directly off the schnoz.
Oh, yes, we saw that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Painful part of goalkeeping.
Figuratively and literally?
Yeah,
just literally?
The thing is, if you get hit in the face as a keeper, you can't then turn your face away next shot. You've still got to put your head in the way. And that's like a boxer getting hit on the nose. You just got to man up and do it. And most keepers get used to that part of the game eventually.
You've got, your nose is held together pretty well for the number of games you played at United.
It got broke 4 times. It's been reset.
That's it. At least the glasses sit on it correctly.
Yeah. There's very few goalkeepers who haven't got broken nose and broken fingers, and if they haven't, then you've got to ask a lot of questions about them.
Gonzalez, Perez whips that through, headers up and away. Gibson recovered. Back out to Perez. Second bite of the apple. Instead, it's Bone. Gonzalez overcooked that. Certainly Bengals fans would know in the Louisville area. My longtime color analyst for Cincinnati Bengals games is the Hall of Fame offensive lineman Anthony Munoz. His pinky is actually a square angle. It's 90 degrees.
What?
Yeah. But he can still grip a golf club, so he's never had it surgically repaired. If he did, he wouldn't be able to bend his pinky finger.
Is that my solution to playing golf?
Well, you're talking about noses and fingers being broken. All I can think about is, I'll show it to you at halftime.
Thank you.
He shows it
can't
to
wait.
He shows it to children to try and spook them a little bit.
I've had broken fingers before where you strap them together and keep playing.
Yeah.
It's part of nature. You cannot be a goalkeeper and not misjudge a ball once in a while and get a broken finger. It's going to happen.
Del Piccolo swiftly pulls it ahead. Mushagaloos had to turn this back by Dodson. Finds Dia, slides for Harris.
Oh, they're asking questions, aren't they, Lou City, from the left and from the right. Balls coming into that box, and good defense from Memphis. 901 so far. No wonder they've only conceded 9 on the road. They work hard, bodies behind the ball. They clear it from the box, but you just wonder if this pressure keeps up, whether eventually the boys in purple will find a way through.
Baptist Health is the proud partner and exclusive provider of medical support and athletic training services to Louisville City FC and Racing Louisville. Visit baptisthealth.com/ortho to learn more. Kisiedu took it off of Gibson. Gonzalez was pushing, nipping at his heels. Free kick.
I think one of the dangers that Lou City have to keep an eye on with this Memphis 901 side is Memphis don't need many opportunities to win games. They're extremely clinical. When you look at their expected goals, it's not very high, and yet they score a ton of goals. That basically tells you that they take chances a lot more efficiently than most other sides do. I think a lot of that, of course, is Philip Goodrum, but they'll be quite content with this. They'll sit on a 0-0, knowing that their strike force can make literally something out of nothing.
And when he's piping hot the way he is right now, he could tie for the Golden Boot lead, equal on assists. Milan Olaski of Orange County, 4 apiece, but 1 goal off. Rolled along, there's Goodrum. Best form in the league. Goodrum curling. Well, when you're hitting it like that, you think, why not?
It wasn't too far wide. It was a yard wide, and I think Carl Morton doesn't even go for the dive because he can see it going past. But the idea was good. Gets out an angle. Watch a couple of little body swivels here just to try and buy a little touch of an angle. And yeah, he's a yard, maybe 2 yards in the end wide, and Carl Morton sees it past there. But still a decent effort, and we were just saying they make something out of nothing. That's the sort of thing that ends up in the back of the net from Philip Goodrum. So again, a warning to Lou City defenders.
Tosh on the Select ball, celebrating its 75th anniversary. Select proud to be the official match ball supplier of the championship. Choose what you play with. SelectSportAmerica.com. Soars into the air. Del Piccolo. Header bounces and finds Gibson in behind. Dia. Bone. Well, intriguing to see where Lucas Turchi is. Ben Pierman said if we all play the system the right way, there's a lot of interchangeability. Turchi was not brought here to be the leading man in a press in behind Goodrum.
He's more of a big, strong, powerful midfield player. Look at the size of his body. Hard to knock off the ball.
Harris got snipped out. Kisiedu. Well, we mentioned it, neither side at full strength, though Boyce, Egbo, or Allen for Memphis. For Louisville, Josh Winder got his first goal contribution in a USA jersey with the under-19s just yesterday. This is really good. And served across, seeking Fernando. Whistling from Lucas Turchi.
See what he was trying to do there, Turchi. He hasn't just bent it in nice and softly. He's rifled it in. And I tell you what, he's not far away from finding Fernando at the far post. Beautiful little ball in. And he's looking for options. Look at the power and strength of his body there just to push off the defender. Yeah, maybe a foot too high, but the pace is what he was looking for. That gives the defenders no chance to catch up with Fernando. Great idea, nearly perfect execution.
Skied up, Perez away. Segrist. This is positive from Kelly. Teed that up. Curling shot bangs off the post. Kelly! No, it's not going to count. They can't believe it. Kelly was in an offside position. And Memphis's goal is wiped off. And there is about to be controversy.
I'd like to see it again, but it just proves the point we said a minute ago. They make something out of absolutely nothing. Memphis 901. What a good finish by Kelly. The shot itself thumps against the post, and it'll be interesting to see just how far offside he was. I can only assume the assistant ref has got it right. And coaches can argue all day long, but they're sitting miles away from that line. It's very difficult to see. But a tough break for Memphis. This is where they are brilliant. Just when you think they're not a threat, they pop up and nearly stick one in the back. Well, they stick one in the back of the net. It's just not allowed. That's all.
That ball was massive. Dia for Mushagalusa. Spins out toward Del Piccolo, commits a foul, and we can go back to the previous goal wiped away. Turchi's shot. Watch as the ball is released. 18, Jeremy Kelly. Middle of your screen. On or off?
It could very well be offside. It looks like he's just past Tosh. No, this is. Oh, well, hang on. I was looking at the wrong player there. I can't tell you for certain now that you mentioned it, because he's in the middle of the goal. There was a player in an offside position to his right. Goodrum, correct.
It's extremely close. And I have a feeling that if you draw the lines, you're talking about a foot or less.
But again, without VAR, we just have to go with what referees and assistant refs see. We're struggling to see it on replays. Coaches certainly can't see it from a touchline. It is what it is. You respect the decisions. You'll get some of them. You will not get others. I've got to be honest and say Memphis have had two decisions that haven't gone their way. There was that goal itself. Is it offside? Is it not? And of course, there was that Corbin Bone slap in the face early on in the game, which on Goodrum, which should have got a red card. So the luck not going Memphis's way in the first half, but that could all change.
Rolled ahead for Kelly. Sharpie sends that to another zip code. Let's take one more look here again. Watch the freeze, and 18 standing on the near side of the penalty spot. He just released the ball.
I would think he's onside. I can see Goodrum's offside, and maybe that's what the assistant ref sees, but he's looking down a whole bunch of bodies there, so incredibly difficult to get that 100% right. But yes, on the day, Memphis probably a tad unlucky.
And yet, if Memphis has to come to Louisville the first week in November as a 2-seed or a 3-seed, they might be looking at that precise moment thinking, we got the short end of the stick. Stoppage time is presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Now that seems apt. Referees have added 3 minutes. It's been one of those nights.
Look, Memphis can certainly take into the locker room that they've defended really well, excellently well, against a lot of loose city pressure from left and right flanks. They've possibly had a good goal disallowed. Again, difficult to say definitely one way or another. They've got to manage their sort of response in terms of yellow cards for Fernando. He's on a yellow and looked like he had lost it at one stage. But overall, good first half from the visiting side. I think you can flip that around for Loose City and say they dominated, they created more chances, and they're not having that a bad half. So both teams will have positives to take out of this.
Gonzalez, Del Piccolo, Mushagalusa has to spin outside. There's that 1v1 matchup again. Mushagalusa with Fernando in the crosshairs. Oh, he's lost everybody. Mushagalusa angles. Banged off of him, kept alive. The attempted clearance by Dodson. Trying to deflect it over the line. Dia, Bone, onside. Bone cuts back, seeking Gonzalez. Still Mushagalusa. Harris tried to stick his foot out, and Malloy halfway line. Sharpie commits a foul.
Wow, what good pressure there from Lou City in the box as Sharpie argues his case. So much constant pressure coming in from that left-hand side from Musha Galusa and Corbin Bone, and just trying to get a second on the ball. But again, credit at Memphis defense. They were able just to block them at every chance. This is the Sharpie free kick. He's saying he's going for the ball and that Philip Goodrum dived, perhaps. But either way, good play by Goodrum to win the free kick and take the pressure off.
Well, time and time again this year, Memphis has proven, whether it be injuries, they've got international duty to worry about tonight, down goes Turchi. They've had an answer for pretty much everything. Instead, more keyed in on the game plan over the course of this year, more organized in defensive moments.
They certainly have been, but it takes a lot of effort to defend the way Memphis have, and they've got a second half still to come. And you think if Lou City keep this sort of pressure up, they might find some cracks. Having said that, we've really seen from Memphis that they can create opportunities themselves. So this is perfectly set up. Two great sides in the USL. Not much to choose between them. I think we're going to go to a second half where it's going to get increasingly emotional, uptight, angry. Wow. We're in for a massive next 45 minutes.
Halftime. Halftime in Kentucky. And if anything's been lost, it's love between these teams. Memphis and Louisville scoreless at the interval. What a 45.
Yeah, there's no goals, but there's so much else going on and so many debates and arguments and players. Look, they're all getting uptight, but they've just got to keep calm, keep control. Because at the end of the day, the referee, look, he's getting more and more annoyed. He's not interested. He just wants players to get on with the game.
All right, coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at news and notes around the league. Regrettably, we have a bit of an obituary to tell you about as well. A league legend passing away this week. Halftime presented by Serve Pro. On the other side, this break and a message from your local station.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the unmatched orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With a best-in-class team, along with services and procedures you won't find anywhere else in the region. It's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
We've got exciting news.
Commonwealth Credit Union has been ranked best in-state credit union by Forbes magazine.
For the 4th time.
It's true.
In fact, we're #1 on the list this year.
So, if you've never tried Commonwealth Credit Union before,
come see what you've been missing. Because here.
Here,
Here.
Here.
Here, we see you differently.
We will do everything on the field to make sure we win.
Anything less is a disappointment.
3 years since we last lifted a trophy, and that's far too many.
We're working every single day to bring home a championship.
We started off on the right foot, and now we just got to keep going.
Louisville City FC takes on Rio Grande Valley October 1st at 8:30 on My 58. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently. This is Aaron. Aaron is responsible for prepping the stadium for Lou City game day. His team puts in a lot of work, transforming this into this. But weather can get in the way. So to ensure the crowd will be safe, they call Mark at WDRB for the official green light to play. Making the right call and keeping everyone safe. WDRB Weather, the source.
WDRB and WBKI are the broadcast home for Lou City FC Live. Tonight's game was presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently.
With the Kroger Plus card, it's easy to get lower than low prices for the win. You also earn fuel points on every purchase to save big at the pump. The Kroger Plus card. All you do is win big, big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. With the Kroger app, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you get in our stores. So start your cart today. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome back to Louisville and the USL Championships. Marquee match on this Friday evening. Number 1 and number 2. Mike Watts back with you. You know, emojis can really show you the window into someone's soul. It could just be a simple face. You're happy or you're sad, or it's a trophy, maybe a soccer ball. But the players for Louisville City, they know all too well. They even acted some of them out. Take a look.
Favorite emoji, extra points if you act it out.
I like the new one. I'll go like this. That's awesome.
Favorite emoji?
Oh, we're going full.
Okay.
That one.
Just smiling, just smiling.
The monkey with his hands in his face. Yeah, good luck tonight.
What's his name?
Let me think about this. I don't use emojis a lot. I have to think about one. I think maybe the laughing face with like the squinty eyes.
Favorite emoji? Are you kidding me? Of course it's the wall. It's got. Everyone knows. I don't have to do it right now, but everyone knows it's the lock, of course.
Honestly, I don't even use emojis.
This dead skeleton looking thing. The like silly one with like, you know? I'm on my keyboard right now. This one. I don't know if you can see it.
I'll zoom in.
The guy cussing out, whatever it is.
The one with like the melting face. And the can't act it out. I like the cat crying face.
You gotta go with the Lou City one, right?
The light purple guy?
The light purple guy? That's the one.
It's the devil emoji. This one, got one. Thumbs up.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
Goes topic features. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm going to topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What?
What? Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
Welcome to Tampa Bay. Here he comes. Cross, score! Fernandez, and the Rowdies are on the board.
And it's into the back of the net. El Paso waited for their moment.
Far corner and it's in. What a goal! Are you watching Football Americas?
Time to get back out on the road again.
In a new electrified vehicle.
And Toyota's got more than anyone else.
Many of them built right here in the USA. Like this electrified Highlander hybrid that has a driving range over 600 miles and never has to stop to recharge.
It just happens automatically.
Saving you thousands versus the average new vehicle.
When you run the numbers, you can see why people love the Toyota Highlander.
And with every new Highlander, you get 2-year no-cost maintenance.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Unbelievable! What a goal! What a moment! The ultimate upset when it mattered the most! That's right. right, the USL Championship playoffs presented by Hisense are closing in. Welcome to halftime. It is presented by ServPro, the official cleaning and restoration partner of Louisville City FC. There's a look at the playoff update around the championship. The East is set. It's all about seeding now, including this critical matchup. San Diego has confirmed their place in the proceedings out west. A little news today, RGV a 3-0 win over Charleston. A little bit closer to trying to confirm their spot.
Yep, in the live table, they are in 7th spot, and they're now 3 points ahead of Oakland Roots and Monterey Bay. So Monterey Bay against Miami, away against Miami tomorrow. That's going to be a tough match, but a very important one now. So have RGV got themselves some crucial space between themselves and the chasing pack.
Here's a look at the scoreboard from midweek and earlier today. Rowdies and Birmingham are level. Marlon scored in the 10th minute. Leo Fernandez scored 7 minutes later. That's now 68 minutes deep. A quick aside, Sekou Kone missed a penalty for Monterey Bay and was on the receiving end of significant abuse via social media. The club came out, and a number of players around the league have also condemned that, and credit to all involved for supporting Sekou. He missed a penalty and stoppage. Would have put the group into the playoff position.
Yeah, but players miss penalties all the time. You shouldn't get abusive about it. It's part of life. You're not going to score every penalty. As a goalkeeper, you're not going to make every save, and it's wrong I believe it's wrong for people to start jumping on anyone's back, and especially to make it racist is horrendous. So I'm pleased the club came out in support of Sekou.
Certainly did. And here's a look at that schedule. You said Miami, Monterey Bay. That is a tough game.
Yeah, and Oakland Roots also chasing that 7th spot that RGV now hold. They're away at Colorado Springs. Good luck with that. And Las Vegas also chasing that 7th spot. They've got San Diego at home, and good luck with that.
And San Antonio, Sacramento, by the way, no Roro Lopez for that game. Meanwhile, on Thursday, the American soccer community lost a coaching legend. Tim Hankinson coached for more than 40 years, including stints with the Charleston Battery, the Indy 11, and Chattanooga Red Wolves in USL League One. He's also been working as a broadcaster for San Antonio FC. Broadcasters around the league had a chance to talk to Tim numerous times. He could not have been more cordial, more pleasant, and more enjoyable to learn from. The entire USL mourns his passing. Our thoughts are with his family and all the players who ever called him coach.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
This new Toyota Tundra is amazing. It's rugged and capable.
Designed, engineered, and built right here in the USA.
And Tundra is more powerful and more fuel efficient.
The iForce Max hybrid powertrain delivers 437 horsepower.
And with the multi-terrain select, no matter what the conditions are, it automatically adjusts the engine throttle and traction.
While the crawl control modulates the throttle and brakes.
When we say you can go anywhere and do anything,
Tundra really means it.
Yeah.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome to U of L Health Heart Hospital, an exciting chapter in the Jewish hospital story. If these walls could talk, you would hear stories of over 40 medical firsts. As the area's only heart hospital, we focus on comprehensive heart care, where academic research pioneers innovative treatments, and a world-class network of experts offers life-changing care. Here, your heart is in the right place.
When fire and water threaten your home, hand the cleanup over to the team that stays with you every step of the way in your journey back. 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com. Like it never even happened.
Let's take a look at first half highlights, and there's a number of them. Highlights and lowlights, I suppose. Starting the 4th minute of play, Goodrum would be deemed offside.
Well, either way, Carl Morton sort of, if not made the save, certainly slowed the ball down enough for his defenders to get it away from danger.
Minute later, Louisville into the attacking third. They spent about 2/3 of the half there.
They did. Mushagalusa, a constant threat down that left-hand side, comes in. I think it's a decent save from Trey Muse, and he pushes it quickly away into traffic, but with so much pace that Wilson Harris can't get on the end of it.
We're only moving forward another 3 minutes. This is where the tempers started to blow. So Goodrum takes a slap in the face from Bone, no punishment.
Yeah, it's a red card. If the referee sees it, it's a red card. But again, referee can't see everything. It's absolutely impossible. And he catches Goodrum in the eye. And I think you saw Goodrum moaning with the referee about it.
And then a kick out from Fernando at the end of this causes Mushagalusa to go at him.
Yeah, it's a yellow card, definitely, initially for Fernando for the kick, but Mushagalusa got himself a yellow card for his response.
Is this onside?
It's borderline, so difficult to tell, to be 100% honest. Jeremy Kelly, good finish, by the way. Goodrum's definitely offside, I think, and that might catch the assistant ref's eye line. But the only person who's looking down that line is the assistant ref, not you, not me, not the coaches. We can't see from the angle we're at, so we have to go with the AR and what he sees.
Well, it was, of course, deemed offside, scoreless at the break. Halftime stats brought to you by River City Flooring, and pretty even stuff.
Yeah, 3 shots on target to 1. I certainly think Lou City had the better of the first half, but there weren't many opportunities for goalkeepers to show what they were good at. You know, shots on target weren't that good. There is Fernando. His eyes have gone back to normal again now after that little bumping heads with Mushagalusa. But yeah, just say the goalkeepers weren't fully tested. I've got a funny feeling there will be in the second half.
Is Kyle Morton going to be called upon to make the save that keeps Louisville in firm command, the top spot in the East? Does Ben Pierman know the right button to push here? What he thought was the go-ahead goal wiped off the board. And 1v2 sometimes can be a letdown. You project a season's worth of results into one game, and sometimes one team or the other or neither really bring it. That has not been the case tonight. It's lived up to the billing. It's Louisville and Memphis, and the second half is underway.
That certainly is. It's 2 good sides equaling themselves out, but you do sense that there's going to be some moment in this game where it switches and turns. It could have done, barring the offside for Memphis. Certainly, Mushagalusa's had a few efforts and a good save from Trey Muse that could have seen them in the lead. So yeah, long way to go in this match. And again, to make the point, there were 3 red cards when they met earlier in the season. There's already been tempers flaring. There's been what should have been a red card, I believe, at Corbin Bone for the slap in the face. So I think there is the potential for this to get very, very chippy indeed.
I would not be surprised if the disciplinary committee had a very busy meeting on Monday. Kisiedu outside, slide from Perez. If he missed that by an inch, we're having a different conversation.
Yeah, it is. It's a perfectly timed tackle. These days, once you go to ground, you have to win the ball. Nice to see the 2 players, though, just a quick shake of the hands or touch of the hands to say, hey, no malice intended. I was going for the ball, not you, and all's fair and square. Lovely to see that, and it was well accepted by Patrick Segrist. And that's the side of sport that we sometimes miss, and that's good sportsmanship from both players.
Picked up by Gonzalez. Ball bounces off of Dodson. Harris! Wilson Harris! Right place, right time. Louisville ahead.
He's finished it as he does so often there. Wilson Harris for his 13th of the season. It's been a battle between him and Philip Goodrum as to who was going to get the first goal in my books. Well, Lou City are ahead, and they have created possibly more chances so far in this game. But in a way, it was lucky how it built up. Good counter-attack, a long ball forward. And when the ball goes wide, it comes back, and it's a lucky bounce that brings it towards that one there. Jorge Gonzalez has the ball. Defender gets a foot in there from Dodson, and it runs right into the path of Harris, and he punishes it, puts it past Trey Muse.
If Dodson was wearing a different color, that's the assist of the year. Off the back heel, right into Harris's path. Wilson Harris scores his 13th of the season. Most on the club.
Well, you do feel it has been Lou City's day in terms of, as we said, first half, the disallowed goal for Memphis, the potential red card for Bone, and now an unlucky bounce off Derek Dodson straight into the path of Wilson Harris. But they've also, for me, they've been the more adventurous of the two teams. They've been the more creative. They've put on more pressure, and maybe this is their just reward.
Segris put on skates. Perez. Harris there again. Blocked and cleared. Memphis has scored in the second half of 5 consecutive road games. They do become more and more adventurous as the game goes along on the road, seeking the 3 points. 8 road wins this year. They've lost only twice away from AutoZone Park. And Wilson Harris, who was expected to play a big role, make no mistake, but the injury to Cameron Lancaster early in the season, he's only featured 3 times, has given him a starring role on the league's top team in the Eastern Conference. He bangs home a 13th of the season, former championship young player of the year.
And I think we're looking at 2 strikers, both of whom have been a real wonderful surprise to USL soccer fans. Wilson Harris and, of course, Philip Goodrum. Didn't expect either of them to score this many goals. As you mentioned, both good players, no question. But I thought Wilson Harris would be playing a role behind Cam Lancaster. And due to injury, as you said, he's got his chance. Philip Goodrum, you'd expect a few goals from him, but 19? Really? So wonderful to see both these incredible strikers in such good form.
Goodrum only 6 goals in 34 games for Atlanta United 2. The return to Mushagalusa is a hair beyond his reach. Harris scored 25 at Kansas City. That was over 66 games. Theory is actually right on line in terms of goals per appearance, as he did in SKC2's system over the years. You know, Danny Cruz was telling us how frustrated he was, not with the score line against Loudoun. It finished 4-2. And that oftentimes at 3-0, teams sort of switch off. Goodrum's taking this away. Goodrum slide! Play on! And Memphis fans incensed again. The back heel leading Mushagalusa. And stabbed away by Smith. Mushagalusa, that's a tackle that'll be watched time and time again. Service across. That's cleared. And tapped down to Fernando.
That was a tackle by Deere, and he got that. He had to get it absolutely right. I think he did. Again, we'd have to see it on a replay to know for certain. I think he got the ball. But again, the moment you go to ground in the box, it's such a risky tackle, and Memphis fans will be wondering what it is they have to do to get a break here. But I do think the referee got that one right.
And look, sometimes the referee is wrong. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you're just off the mark by 3 inches about 4 times in a game. I mean, those nights do happen. And it's possible Memphis is having that night right now.
It is, and without VAR, no one's going to know for certain. Referee's got to call it in real time, immediate decision. If you look at that, unless you can actually see that it's a trip, you can't go on guesswork, you can't assume, you have to see it to give a penalty. A penalty is 75% or thereabouts a goal. So you don't give that away cheaply, and I didn't see enough there to be sure that that wasn't a clean tackle. But it was a risky one, and I think a few Lou City fans are like, oh no.
Perez. Taken out of the air by Kisiedu. And through. Goodrum runs it up to Morton. That wasn't going to reach the penalty area. He had to drive it away. Brilliant spin Pumping the brakes, Kelly.
Important for Memphis at this stage to keep it tight. Obviously, they don't want to concede a second, control the game, and then slowly start creating opportunities. They know they have the players to score, and as you said, they can push forward when they need to. And you get the sense that slowly they will do that. For Lou City, you don't want to give up too much space. You don't want to just defend because you're 1-0 up. You want to try and keep on the offensive wherever possible. So it's going to be interesting to see how the next 10-15 minutes go.
50-50 ball slide in for Buckmaster. Throw for Louisville. All right. Louisville on the move. Harris, Gibson. We'll give you another look at the D at tackle as soon as the game allows. It really hasn't. Mushagalusa. That's a clean tackle the other way. Dodson's had a nice night. Outside of the ball banging off his heel. As unfortunate as could be, that could lead to the goal by Harris in the 47th minute.
So, by the way, Corbin Bone having a few words there in the middle with Lauren Kisiedu, and the referee just watching it. So Corbin Bone angry about something that happened off the ball. We'll watch that space closely. There's a few little personal vendettas being settled from the first match, and again, you know, both sets of players want to prove that they're the best. Lou City have been. Memphis want to take it away from them, and obviously you're going to have feelings running high.
All right, let's go all the way back to the D tackle on Goodrum.
He wins the ball now. The question is, does he come from behind Goodrum to win the ball and bring Goodrum down? I think he, well, it's so close, but I think he just gets around him in the ball first before he makes contact with Goodrum's legs. Again, a very, very close one. I think the referee got it right, and we're seeing it in a replay as well. So in real time, as I say, if you're not sure as a ref, you can't give it.
Dodson. Contact Turchi, foul. And the offside flag had gone up as well. 2023 season tickets on sale now for Racing Louisville FC. It's the area's only professional women's soccer team. Visit racingloufc.com/tickets for more information.
By
Two
the way,
games left for them.
Yeah, those who haven't seen the NWSL, you have got to watch it. There are some fantastic players, brilliant games, and it's all coming to a head now. And virtually, I don't think there's one team. I think there's only one team at the very, very top that is guaranteed a playoff place. Portland. The other 7 are battling for it. So it is absolutely awesome to watch.
Louisville concludes their home slate on October 1st against Kansas City Current. A couple weeks ago, we're top of the league, and that is blown up in short order. Harris, Del Piccolo, can he spray this forward? He did. Mushagalusa. Dodson sizes him up, the cross all the way through. Gonzalez was at the back post, and Segrist will track it down.
That's exactly what Gonzalez wants, because he's so good with the head. He's a big, strong player. Played him up front most of the time, and now he's coming from more of a midfield role. Sean Toast getting a lecture from the referee.
Been out here making friends in the championship since what, 2014? Curl ball. Now Tosh is the one who's fouled. The referee saying no more.
Yeah, yellow cards will start coming out, and as players get more desperate, they'll take more risks. And that especially is the case of Memphis, who have to get themselves back in the game. Talking of that, of course, they have the youngster Knight Pickering on the bench, the 17-year-old, 2 goals and 6 appearances. What an exciting talent he looks like.
Scored that bike against Hartford in his first appearance. That's one way to mark your pro debut.
Of course, on the other side for Lou City, they've got Napo Masoso as one of the options they can bring on.
And while Ben Pearman's constructed a lot of this, sporting director for the team is, of course, Tim Howard. And brought in Caleb Patterson-Sewell. If you followed this league, you know the respect for him. A lot of people have his goalkeeping performances often legendary. Tossed in here to Kisiedu. It was a good initial recovery for Louisville. Left off for Fernando. Flicks that crossfield off of Perez. Ball over the 6, out to Malloy.
Can't believe you mentioned Tim Howard's name and didn't mention something about Man United. Come on, he's a legend. United, Everton, USA.
Well, I wasn't sure how you felt about the United part because of how much of his career was the Everton part.
The fact that he was at United is good enough for me.
The good long red line for you through all the great goalkeepers of United history. That's Gary Bailey alongside Mike Watts, who definitely did not feature for United, nor really care for them either.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Do you want to mention who you do care for?
At this particular moment, less so. But I think there should be an all-star game in England. This ball is whipped over the crossbar.
All-star game.
I've fallen in line with the new ownership.
Yeah.
It's being a Drogba fan, actually, not a Pulisic. You know, I mean, Pulisic's fine, but Drogba fan.
Drogba and Phoenix Rising at the time when he came here.
No, way before.
But for Chelsea.
So, yeah,
okay.
that's where that came from. Your dream home is waiting for you with Fisher Homes. Discover a variety of floor plan styles and watch your design come to life. Visit FisherHomes.com and get started today. I was too young to comprehend Drogba's humanitarian work, but just old enough to fully understand how good of a player he was.
What a player. Strength, speed, ability with the head, both feet. Phenomenal player.
And his last professional game, as many probably thought while he was at Chelsea or Galatasaray or wherever it may be, was played with Phoenix about 5 miles from here at Lynn Stadium, U of L. Ball floated, soars upward. Turchi trying to get under it. Stabbed away Malloy. Danger still on for Memphis. Malloy crossing. Fernando brought it down. Sliding in. Still loose. Dodson! Dodson delivers! Memphis level! And they've scored on the road in the second half again.
Brilliant from Memphis. Absolutely stunning to get themselves back in the match. And I just felt Lou City have stepped off and allowed them to come at them. And a team as good as this is going to find a gap. And Derek Dodson found that gap. And actually, in many senses, it was an unlucky assist he had for the goal against. So who better for the ball to fall to than Dodson to get the equalizer, get himself back on good standing with the Memphis fans. Ball in. It's all chaos at this point. Unlucky to some extent for Lou City, but they didn't clear it. And Dodson punished them.
We have a sub, not ready.
Well, Dodson atones in a magical way. The unfortunate back heel flick into Wilson Harris that led to the Louisville goal has been equalized by Dodson's 61st minute marker. Memphis 1, Louisville 1 with half an hour to go. And the #1 seed still very much hanging in the balance.
Perfectly set up, isn't it? And I think credit to Memphis. They haven't had the decisions go their way, and yet they've still got themselves back in the match. Now, who's going to want it most from here onwards?
Mushagalusa swings it wide with a deflection, flicks all the way through, down to Dia. Dodson there again. Dodson fouls Dia.
He's been the center of attention, Dodson, no question about that. Unintentional assist for the goal against. You get the goal for. Now you're giving away a free kick. Have a look, he gets nutmegged by Dia. There's the nutmeg, and he just decides, no, you're not passing me. Clear free kick.
Dotson was the go-to goal scorer for the Georgetown Hoyas over a 5-year span. Was a first-round pick of Orlando City, acquired for $100,000 in Garber bucks. Gam. Still no?
Nope.
No. Okay. Another time. Fifth, third free kick for Louisville. Del Piccolo. And that clearance, a little more metal. Allocation money?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay. But general not targeted. Another time.
Sorry, in Europe we just buy players and sell them.
Memphis on the move. Mushagalusa. Well, and obviously Louisville got a princely sum for Jonathan Gomez when they sold him to side in La Liga. There's been some rumors this week. Here comes Memphis. Ball whisked away, and Malloy plants it right on the doorstep of Kyle Morton, who made the save.
Such a good player, Aaron Malloy. He works so hard and he's strong. He wins the ball and straight away he goes at the center of the defense and gets that shot on target. Again, it wasn't the best shot, but it's just his ability to keep knocking balls into dangerous areas and winning balls in dangerous areas makes him such a good player.
Tosh intercepted. Those have been the moments, the letdowns for Tosh this year. Segrist. Tosh put in a blender, rolled in front for Goodrum. It's one thing to score 20 goals. If you're Milanowski, you're still in last place. If Goodrum scores a winner for his 20th, it's a very different conversation. Substitution here coming. It's brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Del Piccolo hands off the captain's armband to Bone. And Elijah Winder comes in. His brother just assisted a goal with the U.S. under-19s over the last couple of days. I was touching on that a moment ago. Rumors that the Philadelphia Union were interested in attempting to acquire him. Danny Cruz wouldn't speak to those rumors specifically, but did say with Josh Winder's performance this season, there's a lot of teams, domestic and foreign, who've made phone calls.
And again, huge credit to Lou City and every team in the USL that produces young talent. We've seen Orange County sell a couple of really good players, Kobe Henry being one of them, and Ronaldo Damas last season. It's what you need to do to bring money in, and it's not easy to blood these youngsters and win trophies.
Goodrum asking questions. Turchi's been a little revelatory for me tonight.
He's a powerful player. He's got big upper body strength, and he's difficult to hold off. Just back to Elijah Winder, just 19 years of age, and you throw him on now. That takes bravery from the manager, Danny Cruz. Put a young player in, but how else do you know if that young player is going to be a top player unless you throw them into the middle of battle?
And what a battle it's been. Malloy, 7 set-piece assists this year, most in the league. First ball's away. Luis Fernando. Cut back out. Touched by Bone, but Malloy. Looking for Turchi. Gibson.
Now I'm watching the game very closely because we've had a situation where Lou City have dominated. Then Memphis had a bit of a spell when they went 1-0 down, got it back to 1-1. This might tell us who is really the better of the two sides, who can control the remaining 25 minutes and possibly get a winning goal. And you can see Memphis growing in confidence. Hard to choose between these two teams right now.
Seeking Goodrum. Tosh back to Morton. Joella's Hot Chicken serving up just the right amount of spice with their Lou City slider pack. $5 from every pack sold, donated toward the Lou City Embracing Louisville Youth Academy. 17 levels to choose from. Joella's Hot Chicken isn't just about heat, it's about flavor. Pickles are good too.
Wonderful to see that some of that money goes to scholarship as well. That's a fantastic gesture.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was supporting the Carlos Moguls and Winders of the world when I bought those sliders, but the chicken was good.
Thompson must be wondering about this game. It's been such mixed emotions. Down in the dumps when he inadvertently helped assist Wilson Harris for the goal against his side, and then tucking in the equalizer and all the joy that brings. It's the nature of this game. It can be a roller coaster. And I still think there's going to be a roller coaster in the last 20 minutes. I hope so, especially for the neutrals. It'd be wonderful to see an exciting game at the end here. That's Fernando going in for the tackle and then getting hurt. And
well, let's try and figure out where that ball came from. Well, Fernando a little calmer about that fact now. Here comes the initial challenge.
Mushagalusa's on the ball, and you'll see Fernando there. That's a foul, but I think he hurts his knee in the process because gets his knee wrapped right over Mushagalusa and gets a knock on the inside of the knee. Now, oh, nutmeg on Tyler Gibson there. There's a little bit going on off the ball.
Mushagalusa rolls that by. Bone. Well, I'm intrigued. Dia. I mean, in theory, there's only 3 people back there at that point. Tosh, Sharpie, and Morton. And until they're all accounted for, everyone's a suspect.
Well, it didn't lead to anything. The referee just ignored it. And fortunately, so did Fernando. Just gave a glare in the direction of where the ball came and then got on with the game.
20 minutes to go. Massive opportunity tonight. Make no mistake, Memphis has no interest in coming back here. Louisville does not want to go to AutoZone Park. Turchi forced the turnover. Rolled off the back heel of Goodrum. If he didn't touch it, Fernando had an opening.
The game's getting stretched a little bit now from end to end. It's what we want to see for the last 20 minutes.
Does that benefit one side or the other?
Not really. Either side can take advantage of it. It's tied legs in the midfield. Maybe Turchi and company have been doing a lot of hard work chasing that ball from Lou City.
Mushagalusa got by Dodson, rolls it in front, tapped away. Fernando spins and delivers. Goodrum, Tosh.
Good pace.
Rocket strapped to his back.
For a moment, I'm thinking Tosh are in trouble because Philip Goodrum's quick, but he went straight past him.
Wow.
But you can see there how Memphis played the counter-attack, so this space can work for either side. It's whoever can knock those long balls into space, and whichever forward can jump on it that's going to have the day.
Mushagalusa swings service through. Harris trying to get under it. Broken free by Kisiedu. One wonders how long the window is open for Memphis. For Louisville, it's largely open every year because they bring so many players back. Memphis hasn't had that challenge yet. How much value is there to putting all the chips in to get those home games? One of the most difficult places to play in the league. Louisville's only lost once here all year. And rightfully, this game being aired nationally on ESPN Deportes in Spanish. as well as on national radio, local TV in both markets. These fan bases care. Dia throws. Memphis a little bit asleep at the switch. As a result, Smith bear hugs Wilson Harris.
I think Smith knew what he was doing there. They were a little bit thin at the back, Memphis, and he didn't want to take any risks and have the likes of Wilson Harris running at the back 2 or 3 there. So now he's had a chance to get them all back in defense. That's clever play. Just have a look here as the ball comes. They're very thin at the back, the white shirts. And he's thinking, no way you passing me. Either I win the ball or I take you down.
5th, 3rd free kick. Aim it at the penalty spot. Is it that simple?
Tosh is definitely an option. I don't think you're going to beat the keeper from there, so you want to try and find one of the big guys in the box.
He's the furthest player back. But I am confident that's not what Dia was trying to do.
I think he saw the referee walking and just underhit the ball. Referees have this conversation. Every 2nd or 3rd free kick or corner, they tell players not to push and shove, and I sometimes think the rules are what they are. Let the players do what they're doing and then call what you see. I guess the referee's trying to help them not give away a penalty or not give away a free kick, but
I think he's trying to take the decision out of his own hands. Dia, that's better. He was seeking Tosh. And Louisville, a corner. Wi-Fi corner in the 75th minute.
These set pieces are always dangerous because not always easy to get the ball clear at first header, especially when you're under pressure from the opposition. If that ball drops, as we saw for the equalizing goal from Memphis, if you don't clear your lines, it starts bobbling about, it can end up almost anywhere.
Corner. Stadium is rattling. Kelly up. Speared away by Segrist. Fernando won't catch up. Mushagalusa came back onside. Kisyedu following him to the end line. Mushagalusa's through. And he'll regret that he didn't do better with that.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm going to say it's a great nutmeg, and then all the options are open. And he tries to sneak it in near post from an almost impossible angle.
There's a change coming here. That's short-time business major, eventual philosophy major, Zach Carroll coming on.
There's the brilliance. Now head up, find somebody else. You're not going to beat the keeper. Trey Muse is hugging that post. There's no way you're going to beat him there.
Sub brought to you by MHS Global. Fernando comes off. Why do I mention his college majors? Intriguing question for you, Gary. Is this a business moment or a philosophy moment for Ben Pierman? Are you trying to get out of here with a result and maybe you slink back down the stretch? Do you follow through with your overarching philosophy, gun for the win, try and grab that #1 seed when you know you've got the Rowdies trailing you in short order? And if you concede the #2 spot, you might have to go on the road in the 2nd round to Al Lang.
It's a difficult one. Only he can tell you what he wants to do, but I can give you his quote. If you ask about philosophies, he says, we are sticking to our philosophies. If we do things as a team, we can plug and play a little bit, which means he can bring players in. His quote was, we love these players, and if we do the things the right way, they're going to thrive. Well, I think for them, the right way is going to win games. So, yes, they will defend well, but they're constantly going to be looking for that counter-attack ball to Philip Goodrin to win this game.
By the way, Carroll's favorite course in college, existentialism. Masoso comes in, Gonzalez comes off, and both sides tweaking a little bit here. That was a nice hat that Masoso was wearing in the video, by the way.
It was. It's a classic Lesotho hat. They wear it up in the hills of Lesotho, which, for those who don't know, is a country landlocked within the borders of South Africa.
So Masoso repping his native country and has become a Louisvillian citizen in many ways in the time since. Through St. Francis High School and then going down to Lexington, playing in Kentucky, and then arrived at Louisville as a practice player in 2018. Earned chances in the Open Cup and then into the full team. Fans head to Twitter, vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll open the next 10 minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/LouCityFC. That's offside. I would think maybe Wilson Harris, maybe Kyle Morton, and there are probably some Memphis fans who are thinking, I don't know, Gabriel Giusti for man of the match.
The referee. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, there's been a lot of good play from many of the players. I would almost pick Derek Dodson simply because he picked himself up from giving away an inadvertent assist to score against, to bounce back and score the equalizer.
He did.
So you could say he's got a goal and an assist.
Buckmaster to throw.
You were talking about Memphis. The games that are coming up, you're right, they're not easy. They've got Miami away, RGV at home, who are battling for a playoff spot. New York Red Bulls home, they should win that, and Tulsa perhaps away. But certainly Miami away and RGV could be a tough one for Memphis.
Ball through. It's given the other way. While we have a quick moment, let's take a look at tonight's nugget of the match. It's presented by Chick-fil-A. Josh Winder last season followed the footsteps of his older brother. You see there Elijah, second Lou City FC Academy player to sign a pro deal. In the case of Elijah Winder, now 19 years old, loaned to Tucson earlier this year after a devastating leg injury in January of 2021. He's starting to get a little time in the first team, and then the leg injury derailed last year. Loaned into League One, got 12 games in, has come back and filled a pretty important depth piece down the stretch.
Yeah, and on top of that, he got a goal against Sac Republic in the 3-1 victory. So he's got a goal to his name as well.
He does.
Very proud Winder family, no doubt, with those two sons looking as if they're going to be top-class players.
Mushagalusa foul. Buckmaster on the wrong end of it.
Minutes to decide who could possibly top the East. There isn't much to choose between them. Certainly, I mean, you would expect Lou City on home ground to be the slightly more adventurous, which they have been. But again, if luck was on Memphis's side, this could be a totally different game. So the fact they're even level is huge credit to Ben Perman's side.
Yeah, let's walk through this for a moment. 5 points separate the teams. Memphis has a game in hand. If Louisville concedes the points tonight, it's a 2-point gap. Memphis would have the highest remaining max points in the Eastern Conference. It means they control their destiny over the last 4 games against Miami, RGV, Red Bull, and FC Tulsa. This is seeking Dodson, a forward by trade who's tucked into the outside back roll with aplomb, although he's sent that wayward. For Louisville, if they win, they're suddenly 8 points up on Memphis. And the first seed appears close to a lock. They tie their wins and points records, 66 and 20 respectively, and would be chasing only San Antonio for the #1 overall seed. A draw tonight, however, it benefits Louisville for sure. You take one more game out of the equation and you're still 5 points ahead, but you allow Tampa Bay back into the mix for both teams to either try and track them down at the top or try and track down that #2 seed, be able to host not only a first but also a second round game as a guarantee. Louisville also, with a win, officially top 4 in the East. It means no matter what, they would host the first game of the playoffs. That rolls away from Kelly. And let's not forget, Gary, I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. They say they run in the red if they don't have a home playoff series every year.
Wow.
That's sometimes how tight the lines are drawn at high levels of pro sports in this country. Selling an extra 10,000 tickets is a major occasion for joy for any team. That's a big deal. Home playoff games matter.
Well, then possibly a draw is a good result for Memphis, especially here coming to Lou City. They win their game in hand, just 2 points behind. If Lou City step up, or slip up rather, they can top the group, and at least they keep some distance between them and Tampa Bay Rowdy if they get a point here tonight.
Most dangerous man standing over a set piece in the league, Malloy. Spread that over to Segrist. And in front of the now 9-year-old Coopers, and the purple family bounces out. Player goes down. Hopefully there's no need for orthopedic care here for Turchi. The referee's waving athletic training staff on. Turchi came up through Corinthians and Sao Paulo. He was actually playing in the German 4th and 5th tier over the last 3 years, and arrived in Memphis as a open trialist. They initially listed him as a center back with this team.
It looks like he's got some really good talent, as you mentioned. Good physical body in terms of holding the ball off, but looks like he's just feeling a little bit of stress. They've worked hard in midfield. Memphis have had to chase the ball a lot more than Lou City. Lou City moving it around, as Danny Cruz suggested they would do, and one of the keys to the game is they wanted to move the ball around this big pitch and work Memphis 901.
There's Niall Logue waiting to enter. Arrived midway through last year. Pride of the Ohio State University. The 27-year-old from Derry, Northern Ireland. Played for Derry City and Finn Harps.
I think his last game was way back on July 23rd against Indy 11, Niall Logue, so
he's back.
A little rusty, but he'll be delighted to be back on the pitch, yeah?
Returned to the 18 in the game against Charleston. That was the first time he had made the bench since then. He's a major piece. If they can get Allen back, Logue, Egbo's seen a lot of time. I mean, we'll see how many can get healthy in time for a playoff run, but it's not going to take 11. It's going to take 18. Subs are brought to you by MHS Global. Back here to Sharpie, who spent some time in Memphis. Just snuck by Kisiedu. On the Dia, the inverted Mushagalusa in there, driven across, seeking Winder, and out. Let's tell you that Baptist Health Louisville provides nationally recognized orthopedic care locally. Learn more about their high-performing hospital ranking in knee replacement from U.S. News and World Report. BaptistHealth.com/ortho. Hear that, Gary? We can help you with a knee replacement.
Thanks, I need one. But people will say it's from too often bending down, picking the ball out the back of the net. But it almost seems like it's sort of reaching an honourable draw. It's not that both sides aren't trying to win it, of course, but it seems that they've nullified each other, they've understood each other, they know where each other's weaknesses and strengths are, and a draw would be a decent result for Memphis away from home. Going 1-0 down from an unfortunate deflection of Dodson into Wilson Harris's path. So I don't think Ben Pearman would be upset. I guess Danny Cruz wouldn't either, because they keep that gap at the top of the table. So like I say, an honourable draw. I think all parties leave happy.
And what's more, the Rowdies have failed to take advantage of this scoreline by finishing 1-1 with Birmingham tonight. Leo Fernandez, the equalizer in the 17th, after Marlon scored in the 10th. So the fight for the number 2 spot hasn't changed a lick. Just one fewer game remaining. Still time. Mushagalusa turns the corner. Mushagalusa again trying to go to the short post, and the ball ricochets off of Muse and hits off Mushagalusa.
Again, I've got to ask the same question of Mushagalusa. He's done so well to get himself in this position right along the touchline. That touch there is brilliant. Now, head up. Find somebody else at a better angle. You're not going to score from there. Surely you can pull it back. There's enough blue shirts in the box to pull something back, as opposed to trying to tuck it past Trey Muse. All his good work on this occasion, on the one about 10-15 minutes ago, has gone to waste.
'88th minute. So got a piece. Dodson, clever. Goodrum. You know, Goodrum was working the official going into the locker room, and you better bet he was working the official on the way out.
Oh, he was. He was going on and on. No doubt about that Corbin Bone smack in the face, in the hope the referee would try and balance the books. Not the referees do that on purpose, but it's human nature. You feel that if you've missed something, maybe you need to be a little bit quicker to respond next time around. By the way, you mentioned Masoso. It's his 100th appearance today.
Yes.
For Lou City. Congrats to him.
You know, I mentioned his whole life story and failed to mention he's hit a milestone. It's all competitions, including the Open Cup.
Yeah. He gave some good information on his background and his hat.
And the hat. It's funny, I don't even remember what emoji was his favorite. I was just looking at the hat. Nevertheless, Memphis approaching the final minute. Malloy attempt to keep that in. Very much got out for Carroll, and they're saying it's a corner. Touched off a Lou City player. The Estopinal end vocally, vehemently disagrees. So too does Danny Cruz. Apologies for any technical difficulties you may have suffered in the past few moments. Still 1-1 between Louisville and Memphis. The goal here could swing the Eastern Conference playoff race for the #1 seed. They met in July as 1 and 2, and they have met here in the middle of September as 1 and 2.
The score then was 2-1, so a goal now would balance it over the 2 games.
Malloy, foul Memphis. That was Kisiedu.
A bit of cramp there, I think, for the goal scorer, Wilson Harris.
Well, that was the initial sort of argument, and he was saying, no, don't stretch it.
Cams can hear you.
It's interesting. On your point about a late goal, it was Memphis who took the lead at home and lost 2-1 at home, and it's Lou City who've taken the lead at home. And so far it's 1-1, so it hasn't quite mirrored that. Oh, there was a bit of a punch thrown there as well.
Well, it looked like a palm in across the face of Harris from Kisiedu.
Yeah. Yes, from Kisiedu, but it seemed intentional. Again, I don't want to jump to too many conclusions, but the hand came out, hit him in the face. Again, if VAR was watching, I might have a closer look at that. I can only hope and assume it wasn't meant. It was a slip and a fall and a reaching out of the hand that then goes and hits Wilson Harris's face. Although he's not holding his face, it seems more about the hamstring.
Stoppage time is presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. 4 added minutes. Oscar Jimenez and Carlos Mogul will be the final 2 subs for Louisville City. They've burned 2 moments to this point. Bring on Masoso and Winder. Harris is back up.
And I'll take that other one back.
Well, if you know San Antonio's history, they aren't exactly the best at taking regular season success and extending it over the postseason, although they had a great Open Cup run. Finishing #1 overall doesn't come with a trophy, just comes with a guarantee that if you handle your business, you'll host the final. But Louisville not finishing first in their history, have hosted finals time and time again. Subs are brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. The real focus has to be finishing ahead of Memphis and Tampa Bay if you're Louisville. San Antonio, if you have to go there at the end, so be it.
Although, funny enough, when we've spoken to Danny, time and time again, Danny Cruz has said to us, that's our aim. We want to finish top of the entire USL. Now, yes, step one is to finish top of the East. Then you focus on finishing top of the USL. But given San Antonio's tough matches, and we mentioned the first half, there's some really difficult ones coming up for them, including Sac Republic, Pittsburgh away, Birmingham away. They've got every chance, Lou City, even with this draw, assuming it is a draw. They've got every chance of finishing top of the USL, which would be an incredible achievement. And I think you were mentioning some of the other achievements they've reached this year in terms of potential points and games won. It's been a very good year for Lou City.
And they finished their last 2 games on home ground. Go to RGV, where dreams have historically gone to die. Then they welcome a really rough and tumble Detroit side and a Hartford team with a new wind in their sails. With Tab Ramos, it's a little more complicated than it likely first appeared. For Memphis, it's going to be a crush of games. 4 games in the last 16 days of the regular season. Miami on the road, RGV, Red Bull at home. And then Sam Dorr has already started putting his fingerprints all over FC Tulsa. They've added a bunch of pieces that make them a dangerous threat for the finale as well. That's a corner. A corner for Memphis to try and win this in the last moment. Earlier this year, they scored a magnificent goal on the precipice of the final whistle. Could they possibly do it again? And this time on the road. Malloy. Flick to the top of the box, Kelly. There was an injury to Harris. They're going to go well past the 94. Kelly turns. Kesiedu leads it back. Malloy cutting back through. Onside. Lifting. Header is in. It's in. It's Smith. It's a winner. It's a winner for Memphis! Can you believe it? 2-1 on the stroke of full time!
There's a shake of the head from Carl Morton. He cannot believe what has happened there. The shot that came in was miles wide. I think it came in from Malloy, and it wasn't even close. But quick reactions from the players out wide. Have a look here. It comes to Malloy, he hits it, and it's going absolutely nowhere. Now, is he offside or not? I can't see if he is. I thought the flag was going to go up. They looked. Keeper comes. Does he sell himself? And it's, as you say, Graham Smith who gets the ball. Question mark, Carl Morton, do you need to come for that? Can you not stay in the middle for the cross? Because once the goalkeeper leaves there, it's a case of who can get up highest, and it's Graham Smith who almost certainly wins it. And what did we say? 2-1 there away from home. Whoa. And 2-1 now, and now it's all going to go off.
You got to think Gibson's off. And these two sides, should they meet, whether it's in Memphis or Louisville, should they meet in the playoffs, is going to be temperamental from the opening touch. The referee is going to have to make decisions here. Louisville had a player sent off at the end of the previous game. All right, back pocket. Goodrum sent off too. Goodrum is sent off. Gibson and Goodrum both sent packing.
Well, Tyler Gibson, we saw him smack Goodrum, but was there something before that that Goodrum did that we didn't see? Because referees seemed very clear that it was a red card. Now there's further discussions between ref and AR. And funny enough, Mike, I had in my notes here to summarize. Honorable draw, no red cards.
Not so fast. Goodrum got a red card, but he's now walking back into the field of play. Referee's pulling to the back pocket again. He sent off Buckmaster. And again, we finish with only 19 players. 6 red cards between these teams this year. And Memphis just lost a defender and the runner-up right now for the Golden Boot for their next game at Miami.
Well, they're giving a hug to each other for the 3 points, but obviously not for the red cards they've each got. But this is a crazy ending. Let's have a look. If we can see the replay, then we can maybe see what happened. Tyler Gibson was a foot up. You see, maybe that's what there is. Now, is there anything from Goodrum?
Oh, there's the hand in the face.
Goodrum hand in the face. Well, there you go. Goodrum, if he keeps his hand away from the face, maybe.
That's both of those are no doubt red cards.
Okay, so there's no question there at all. Now, is it the third red card?
And Goodrum is saying not only did he slap me, he's likely indicating Bones slapped me in the first half too.
But that wasn't given. That was a long time ago. So I'm afraid Goodrum, if he just keeps his hand down, then he doesn't get sent off. But that's it. What an ending. What a game. Wow. It all came to life in the last couple of minutes.
Graham Smith scores the winner in stoppage time. And Memphis now controls the Eastern Conference down the stretch. 2 points back with a game in hand. And as it was in July, where Louisville came from behind to win 2-1 in Memphis, Memphis has returned the favor in kind. And those are the Eastern Conference top 4. After the Rowdies and Birmingham split the points 1-1, Memphis comes from behind to beat Louisville.
Just incredible, incredible ending. And you're right, it's a mirror image of the 2-1 victory for Louisville City at Memphis. A mirror image or a similar situation with the 3 red cards. And just when it all seemed to be subsiding to that draw, they got that corner that they were complaining about, Lou City, saying it wasn't a corner. From the corner, they get the winner. But Ben Pierman, well done. They played well. The fact that even getting a draw, I thought, was a good result. But to turn it into a win, this is a fantastic performance by Memphis and a real body blow for Louisville City.
A lot to recap in the moments to follow. In the first half, tempers. Ben Pierman wistfully smiles. Harris scored the opener shortly out of halftime, but the response was imminent. Dodson, and then Smith, the winner for Memphis. Kentucky Offensive Highway Safety postgame coming up.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
This is the legendary Toyota 4Runner.
For 40 years, this bad boy's been dealing with the off-road like nobody else.
4Runner's one of 15 different all-wheel drive vehicles from Toyota,
Including this favorite of mine, the best-selling Toyota Tacoma.
The Tacoma is all about off-road adventure.
Yeah, it's got multi-terrain select, crawl control, electronic locking rear differential. It has it all.
So whatever you get us into, Tacoma can get us out of.
And we'll have a lot of fun doing it.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome to U of L Health Heart Hospital, an exciting chapter in the Jewish hospital story. If these walls could talk, you would hear stories of over 40 medical firsts. As the area's only heart hospital, we focus on comprehensive heart care, where academic research pioneers innovative treatments, and a world-class network of experts offers life-changing care. Here, your heart is in the right place.
Wow. Postgame is presented to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Smith celebrates a game winner, his 4th of the season. And Memphis now controls their destiny in the Eastern Conference, and they're chasing Louisville. Maybe with the game in hand, they have a shot at the Western Conference leader, San Antonio, as well. The man of the match is presented by Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training. Harris scored the go-ahead, but it wouldn't be the winner.
Well, it was nearly at least a draw. Everything happened in the last couple of minutes, didn't it? In the last minute, literally. So Harris probably thought that he initially had 3 points for his team, then thought, okay, we're going to get a point out of that. You can see the disappointment in their face. They cannot believe that at the end of that, they've come away with nothing. But certainly it was just a brilliant performance from Memphis on the road.
The Toyota move of the game. Toyota, let's go places. That appeared to be a point-saving tackle.
It was, and it does get the ball first, and I think from this angle it's a fair tackle, although Goodrum's not happy. But a decent tackle from Deere, but he had to time that right, and he did.
Well, Goodrum and Buckmaster don't get to celebrate with the traveling Memphis support. They both get sent off in stoppage, but Smith continues to revel in the moment as Memphis picks up a 2-1 win that shifts the power in the Eastern Conference over to Ben Pierman and 901 FC.
They've still got some work to do, Memphis. They're 2 points behind a game in hand. That means they have to win the game in hand. They've got some tough matches coming up that we've discussed already. Miami away, RGV home. It's going to be tough games. So they've got themselves in a great position, but they've still got work to do.
All right, here come the Liquor Barn game summary highlights. There are a lot of them, so try and keep up. This is the opener for Louisville. In behind, header away from Smith. So he's a bit at fault. You'd certainly say Dodson unlucky. Harris capitalizes.
Yeah, good finish from Harris. It's unlucky from Dodson. It comes off there. Jorge Gonzalez putting the pressure on, but the finish from Harris absolutely spot on.
Keep Dodson and Smith in your brain. Here's why. Sharpie gets this away. Stripped by Malloy, and Memphis would equalize as the ball bounces down right to Dodson.
A good finish from Dodson, but you mentioned the name Malloy. He's the one who wins that ball on the edge of the box. He's the one who gets the ball in that starts that big scramble, but Dodson pops up, and he was so unlucky with that unfortunate assist. He gets luck to go the other way this time.
So that's in the 61st minute. Dodson chasing upfield. A little frustration here between Dia and Dodson, because indeed that's the corner that opens the door for Memphis to score the winner in the 4th minute of stoppage time.
Have a look when this ball comes across initially. It's gonna come to Aaron Malloy, who has what I can only assume is a shot. He puts his hand up there. I think he's trying to bend the ball, mishits it, and it goes straight through. Now, is there an offside or not? Keeper comes, and then it's really a case of who's going to jump the highest, and Graham Smith gets up and sticks that into the back of the net.
And then the first rule of Fight Club is you show them fighting in the Liquor Barn game summary. 3 red cards.
Yeah, well, both players hands to faces, so those red cards, no doubt about that whatsoever. I'm not quite sure what Buckmaster did, because we had all the focus was on these 2 players, but Goodrum did raise his hand and did connect with Tyler Gibson's face, so it had to be a red card. Shocked as he is, Tyler Gibson, no question, because he's given Goodrum a smack around the face, so there's a definite red card there.
So the AR eventually came over and supported the referee in telling him that Buckmaster also should be sent off. The Disco will have a lot of panic on Monday, the disciplinary committee. Here's the full-time match stats presented by River City Flooring. A chance, Gary, for your final thoughts on a game that is almost impossible to quantify with words.
Just a brilliant, brilliant game. If you want all the sort of anxiety and stress and excitement and Fight Club and everything else, you see his shots on target is fairly even, possessions fairly even, red cards, 2 for Memphis, 1 for Lou City. It's just a very good performance from Memphis on the road. Not easy to come to Lynn Family Stadium and get a result. They've done that, but the season is not over for either of these clubs. It's still going to be close.
Tonight's final score is brought to you by Gorski Law Office. And suddenly the East runs through AutoZone Park and Memphis. For Gary Bailey, our entire team in Louisville and beyond, Mike Watts saying so long as Smith and Memphis win it.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.